Good afternoon, Alexander. Happy to
Hello,
have
Jean-Paul.
you here.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jean-Paul Kenmoué. I'm the current Vice President in charge of communication or ISEC Alumni in Europe. And we are happy today to have this session of Alumni Talk, a great person who accepted to share with us his knowledge, his experience, like we used to do in ISEC. Like we learn from ISEC to support, to bring our contribution to enhance the knowledge of the community. And I think Alexander, on his own way, accepted to take part to this exercise to continue with this ISEC way of doing, of helping the community on bringing our little contribution for the development of people and the development of the community. Thank you, Alexander, for that.
Thank you, Jean-Paul. I fully support you with this this speech. I think it's really important that we start to build little by little, brick by brick, this knowledge database, if you want. It's something that probably will be available to everyone in the network. And this is the power of this network. Basically, when we need the information, we need the right people to contact. Basically, here we are all in this Facebook group or in a kind of a mailing list, and then I think this is what makes this ISEC alumni experience very special for me, because me personally, I was in ISEC many years ago. I was in Moscow Aviation Institute in the local committee, MAI in Russian way, which was quite a famous LC, by the way, in 1992-1994. So basically, that was kind of a century ago. But nevertheless, for the last couple of decades, I was quite an active member of ISEC Russia alumni community. And I have to say that this is the kind of a very special community, and it functions basically based on this principles you've been just describing. Mm-hmm. The information, the people, the contacts, the access to these people, and this all makes it very, very important to all of us. And what excites me is that the fact that in many situations you can solve your issue within the, I don't know, couple of phone calls, couple of messages on WhatsApp or something, and this is quite amazing thing. And I think we probably should bring it outside of our countries and then make it truly international. Yeah. And here probably why I'm here and why I'm supporting this initiative. So my topic was it was something related to the field I was working basically for a number of years. I was working in the creative industry. I'm still working as a marketing consultant. I'm running my small branding agency. Mm-hmm. It's called Rocklin. And I have to say that while playing many different roles in the advertising industry for a number of years, I have collected a number of impressions related to the way how we can help each other develop the creative skills, develop something that probably all of us today are considering, many of us, I would say, many of us are considering to be the very important skill of the near future. Yeah. Creativity is being discussed in the business forums, in the business press. Kind of a Forbes magazine writes articles about the future working skills, soft skills, and they always pointing out that the creativity is something very important these days, not only for the guys in the creative industry, but also for people who are working in non-creative industries, non-creative environments. So our idea of me, my partner Oleg, was to collect a number of tools, collect a number of methods to enable people working in a non-creative environment to practically develop their creative skills, to improve them, to enhance them. And in order to achieve this, we decided that we can try to use the methods that are used in the professional education of creative people, architects, designers, screenplay writers, the directors of photography, and so far and so on. So we've come up with the idea of a workshop, which is being in our program, and then we offer it to both to the clients and to the private persons, to the group of enthusiasts, I would say so. And today's conversation is basically a short description of this approach, of this method, I would say. Let me probably share my screen with you, and then I will start to show you some slides to support this conversation and to make it more clear what I actually mean here. All right, so right here. Right.
Yeah.
Few words about us, few words about our company. Here's the list of our interests. We're not only in the branding, we're not only in the communications or advertising, but we also are in the many different topics, which are making our life more interesting, more intense, I would say so. We worked with we used to work, and we work with a number of clients in the different fields, starting from the famous musical theater named after Stanislavski in Moscow, and ending up with the big multinationals like Unilever and Danone, for example. I'm just showing a couple of slides just to confirm that we are the right people to be in the middle of this conversation. It's not bragging about our background, but just giving you some flair, some ideas on what is our background. Yeah.
All right.
Why are we all here tonight? Basically, that's the question. Why we here? From around us, that creativity is such a hot topic. Why, for example, we opened the book of a well-known Israeli historian who describes the Yuval Harari, who describes the today's destiny of the humanity, who is using his background of a historian, and why he is basically giving us the quite a sad perspective, I would say so, because the guy he's very, very well known, but he's in the same time he's spreading the pessimism. He's basically saying that some people will be replaced by the robots. Some people will lose their jobs by the under the influence of the algorithms, and basically the humanity will be divided in two parts. He says that some people will be still able to prove that their jobs, their professions, will be necessary, will be needed in the era of artificial intelligence, for example. And other people will need to simply give up and find the other ways to how to survive, how to live in the modern world. I think it's kind of a dystopic view, but what is important here is that out of the many conversations, we see that creativity is being considered by a number of employers, by academicians, as one of the those soft skills that will be considered as a very basic skills of the near future, without any kind of a making no difference if you are, for example, in the labor market or you're an entrepreneur. And this is quite an important topic, because why we see here Salvador Dali is that because we believe that creativity is not about being kind of an exquisite capability, exquisite skills. It's quite an accessible thing. We believe that one can enhance the capability, its capability, enhance the way every single person thinks and treats things differently and in a creative way. And this is all about training, all about the methods, I would say so. Little bit of theory on this topic, just to start. Basically, we believe that creativity is a nature's intrinsic feature. The one who is the most creative survives. This is being proved on an everyday basis by the biology. And look at the octopus, for example. All those features of his body, the ability to change the shape, the mimicry, 3 hearts, just to give you the idea, 6 legs and 2 hands, or vice versa. I can't remember. so if we cannot be sure about it. So all these things are just the perfect demonstration of the way how the nature itself adjusts its creatures to the changing reality, changing circumstances. And well, we can name a number of other animals and living species to support this idea. I think it's quite an obvious if you talk to a biologist, and he will definitely will confirm this this hypothesis. If we look at it from the different angle, if we look at from the humanistic side, if we look at this from the standpoint of the classical literature, for example, well, let's take, for example, this Odyssey. We all know it from school. We know all these myths. We know all this storytelling. We all remember this scene in a Polyphemus cave where Odyssey and his friends trying to escape this cave of the Cyclops using the sheepskins. So even in the earliest examples of the classical literature, we see that humans trying to find a way to save his life, thanks to a creative solution they try to find. So creativity is playing the big role, even in these early stages of the literature, which is basically was the way to express the world overlook of the times. If we go a little bit closer to our times, then let's, for example, let's take The Barber of Seville by Beaumarchais. Let's just have a look at this hero, at this character. Basically, being a representative of a third social group, is being in quite a unfavorable situation, being in this third estate, gives the main character the the impulse to find another solution to survive. All his trait of characters, all his wittiness, all his flexibility is something that helps him compensate this inequality, this social inequality, first of all in the face of aristocracy, and to find the creative way to survive in a society and to achieve his own goals, right? The next thing is Alice in Wonderland. What we see here is at the level of the the plot is that what we may call a collapse of normality, something quite which sounds quite familiar to us today. So we see that a rational, pragmatic worldview doesn't work in this special place. And what was interesting that Lewis Carroll wrote this this piece again in quite a pessimistic way. In the end, Alice, if you remember, wakes up. In other words, she finds no solution but to escape this situation, escape this irrational world. And basically, she failed to find a way how to behave in this conditions of collapse of normality. I'm not sure that Lewis Carroll was it was his main idea of the book, but this is the way how we read it today. Gives us the fact that gives us the idea that creative way is being creative is also means being able to deal with this abnormal circumstances. And here's another example of the pop culture of today's cultural context. And what we see out of the story of this character is that in mad circumstances, wins the one who is truly mad, in fact, right? So it's also a strategy of the survival. And this is how we see it both at the level of the evolution and at the level of the say humanistic thinking reflected in the literature, and we find these examples across all different periods and different times and different countries. And well, if we look at what is humanity today, how it looks today, we see ourselves in a way in this picture. And for us, it's a matter of survival as a personality, first of all, but also as an entire species, because we don't know, maybe the next step of the evolution will be related to the combination of the organic life and electronic devices, but which basically is happening today when we all are taking this holding this device in our hands, but in the same time maybe the next step will be kind of a seamless connection between these microprocessors in our brains, right? We don't know how it will be, how it look like, but we also may treat these changes as something that is a result of the evolution, and then we need to find our way through this well, tough times, difficult times, I would say so. No, and then another one is to simply better define and solve complex problems, and this is why we are showing here this spaceship, and we see that the humanity is still able to define big objectives like Mars conquest, for example, or something of this scale. And also thanks to the creative skills, creative minds, and well, difficult to underestimate. So, as we said, radical creativity is a methodology. It's a set of tools for the powerful development of the creative intelligence. And you see on this picture, you see Henri Matisse. That was his way to draw a pigeon, by the way. So, well, I'm not saying that it's a kind of it's a good way or bad way. This is how he was. That was his way of doing this. And then basically, what we can learn from people like him is their special methods, special treatments of the reality, and in the end, to have our own toolbox, allowing us to deliver better results based on our better developed creative skills. Why we say radical creativity? Because when an artist starts his work with a clean state, from scratch, it's nothing but a look into the abyss. It's quite a scary situation. And well, I'm pretty sure that lots of people have experiencing problems on how to start to write I don't know, a letter or a post on a Facebook or a story and the Instagram or something like this, because it's really it requires lots of efforts and certain internal strength, and this is why it's quite an unusual situation for a human being. And this is why we also say it's kind of radical situation, and it requires radical approach. Sometimes creative methods are indeed radical. So, for example, this guy is a Chinese poet called Liu Bo. He was saying that poetry is something I can deal with only when I'm drunk. So he was always writing his poetry while being drunk. That was his method, right? So we're talking about here about the certain changes in the consciousness. So certain shift is needed. Yeah. Some people try some external stimulators, some not. Here, for example, is another example of the guy, an Indian painter. He paints with his tongue. All his artworks are being painted with his tongue. I'm not saying again whether it's good or not. I'm saying it's just quite an extreme self-expression, I would say. But in the end, it doesn't answer the question, can the boundary of possible be pushed further? I'm not sure that the guy is basically whether he is pushing it further enough or not. So, but what we see here is an example of this braveness and quite unusual approach. And I'm sure that he is doing this not only to kind of to shock the public, to impress them, but he has something in mind, and probably it helps him personally to release his creativity and to enhance these results. We also know that avant-garde methods often lead to truly outstanding results. Here's the painting by our compatriot Kandinsky, Vasily Kandinsky. Kandinsky was when he was being asked about his method, he was saying quite a strange thing. He was saying that I'm hearing the colors. So this is his way to express it. So he in his mind he has this certain connection between the perception of the colors and the sounds, and this was something that gave him his ability to create all those worlds we still admire, we still believe that it was a kind of an epitome of the avant-garde art of the last century, right? And avant-garde is not only applicable to the art, it's also applicable to the engineering, It's also applicable to the development of any kind of technical and technological development, to the science, to applied science, right? So we're saying, what we're trying to say here is that these skills are, even today, they are applicable to the fields which have nothing in common with the creative industries, advertising, marketing, or I don't know, design or graphic design, right? And I think so far it's enough for the theoretical part. I just wanted to give you a couple of examples of the exercises to demonstrate how this method works. Again, they've been cherry-picked from the different fields, from the different areas of human activity, and we're just showing here a small part of the workshop, just to demonstrate you what's all about, and to give you the taster, right? So probably if you want to want some more interaction, let's try to solve the problem once solved by a small Dutch-based manufacturer of electric bikes. They had a big problem. They are only selling online their bikes. Bikes are quite expensive. Electric bike in Holland easily costs 2,500 euro. Well, some people have the cars for this kind of price, you know. As they had no other channels but online shop, they have to deal with a number of delivery services, both nationwide and internationally. They are dealing with the small suppliers, they're dealing with the huge multinational companies. The problem of all of these service suppliers was the same. Many of those bikes were delivered to the customers being broken during the transportation. So with no relations whether it was a small supplier or big suppliers, basically these delivery guys are, well, treating these parcels quite equally and sometimes very, very carelessly. So it all influences the company's bottom line. Then they decide they need to put an end to this practice. And the company was not very big and still not very big. The resources of this company were very limited. They needed a solution that will be, say, optimized in terms of resources, because it was a solution that should save money and not spend money on the solution itself. Any idea what this might be?
Not really.
Well, just first thing that come to mind.
Okay, let's delivery.
How to decrease the percent of this broken parcels, broken deliveries?
Yeah, the packaging maybe.
Yes, the packaging.
Wow, great.
Yes, yeah, you're on the right track. What kind of packaging?
I think depending on the size of the pack, we should build a packaging that we not allow the pack to be like the movement, because generally these are broken because during the transportation there are a lot of movement, and when the material is it's not fixed, then you have a high chance to get broken.
Yeah, it's basically it flies inside this delivery van, right? Back and forth. Right, right. So we're talking about kind of an advanced packaging solution, kind of which probably would be more expensive than the one we're using now as a company, right? So there is no guarantee that the bottom line result will be better. Right? Okay. Okay, then I'll show you the solution.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever seen a TV being delivered and being broken by the delivery people? Quite seldom. It's quite rare, because if they see that they're delivering the TV, their attitude is changing. And I think this solution is kind of a genius thing, because first of all, it costed €0. It's free. It's fully free, right? So just to paint a TV on the on this cardboard box for the bike, right? So, but what's important? What this story tells us about the creativity, about two important aspects of the creativity. First of all, creativity is being expressed in a very interesting way under the circumstances of the restrictions and limitations. So when we have these limitations, we have these budget restrictions, when we have these time restrictions, and we have this any type of other resource restrictions, labor, I don't know what else. So we are starting to express our creativity, and then we start to select the solution that fits our situation best, based on the fact that the best solution is the one that saves us these resources, right?
Yeah.
Second outcome is that a number of creative solution lies in the field of observing people's behavior. We in the advertising industry, we know it very well, because we spend a big chunk of our time doing the consumer researches of different type. So the behavior and the way how to influence the behavior of people, and this is something you have to program if you want to achieve the result. So these guys definitely knew what they're talking about. They started to observe these people. They started to find the peculiarities in the behavior of their suppliers, and then they found the solution. So this is again, difficult to underestimate. I think it's just a great example. Okay, well, that's clear.
Yeah, and it's really ingenious idea. Yeah.
Right. Another exercise where we're offering to our participants to perform is something we call decomposing concepting. So what we do here, we take a piece of art, something well defined, something already made, something even known to the public, and then we were trying to understand what was in the beginning, what was the initial concept, how to define this initial concept. So basically, it's a kind of a backward engineering job. So we, in this particular case, we take the ready film, an advertising film, and then we try to figure out what was in the heads of the screenplay writer and the director when they came up with this solution, when they came up with something that they wanted other people to see in their imagination. it's quite an interesting exercise because we understood that lots of people are experiencing difficulties in concepting when they need to describe their idea, the concept, the product, the service, something which is not yet existing, in a couple of phrases, in a format of SMS with 160 letters, or a kind of an elevator speech, something which is kind of loved very much by venture investors and people of this kind, right? You know, so it's a skill that is that still needs to be developed in many cases. So I just wanted you to have a look at this video. Yeah, probably you should know it. It's well known. It's famous. And you probably do your homework and try to put on paper the concept, which was at the foundation and in the very beginning of this idea. I will start this from the YouTube. If you already know this piece, probably you can tell me, and then I will stop and we'll save some time. All right?
Okay.
Now it was like 1978 or something like that, and we were in a room in Boston. He was having a fun time.
Is there a sound?
Yeah, but I cannot hear the sound, and the image is.
It will start.
Yeah, okay.
I could have do them. I would put trouble and a bad and a frazzle them. They must see you say that we dating off them, muggle them. They must say that we have the girl them body and knuckle them. I do them. The novel them. Cause in the club and we a pop up all the back. Remember say them can't run in, cause we defend and we tackle them. And the water come out and we not. Back up on the match and no we no care what them a say. Come like them out and move but we no hear what them a say. We no matter what the hate and them a say. Your money to your body being paper. Them a say.
Okay, it was Kenzo Ed. Right. So yeah. I hope you understood the meaning of the exercise.
Yeah, I will try to explain what I understood from then. Let's say, to guess what was in the mind of the screenwriter and the producer while presenting this. I think what I understood is that generally we are limited by our environment. We are limited by the rules and the way of doing that are already set. And sometimes we have things inside us that we want to express, and we cannot really express them because we already have, like we used to say, a box on which we need to think or we need to do things. Then it's limit our imagination or our freedom to express new idea or to express what we have in our head, exactly what we have. Yeah. And I think
Inside.
she was just trying to say, okay, she was limited in the environment because most people are there, and she went out and she started expressing exactly what she's feeling. I think, this is what I understood from there.
I think it's a right way to interpret this. I just probably would add one step to this one, because when we start to think about concepts and when we start to explain them to other people, understanding that they don't have this picture in their minds, so something what we have in ours. I think it's important to try to use the means of expression that will help them to imagine these things, imagine this meaning, imagine this sense you've been describing, and then you probably should say then, and to depict this, we will use this type of lady in this particular place, doing some incredible dance performance for the piece of loud drum and bass, which is not connecting at all with the choreography, for example, right?
Yeah.
So we probably need to give other people some hints on how we will be executing these things, right? Not only the meaning, but how we translate this meaning, the conceptual meaning, into the execution, the way how we depict it, how we present it, how we will shoot it or paint it or write it in the form of I don't know, it's kind of a post in Facebook, if you want, right? So that's more or less the meaning of this exercise. Try to combine the interpretation, which may not only be the one interpretation, of course, because it was something you just give as your interpretation. It may not be compatible with other people's understanding of the same piece, and how to combine it with the number of tools to express the something what we want to express, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then I will come back to a last couple of slides in this presentation. Where is it? Right. Yeah. So can you see it, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing now.
What's next? The essential, what was really important for us as the authors of this workshop, is that this kind of conversation creates a tiny improvement of creativity, of creative skills happening today, happening now, and we consider this as a kind of a process, a movement. Then today we know more than zero on a topic. We start to train those weak muscles we've never been training before, if you want. And this is the process. It's not a kind of a ready-made solution. It's not about being creative right after you went to our workshop, and then we definitely will give you the diploma, and then now you are creative. So it definitely won't happen, right? What we definitely know about ourselves, when we know how we can apply radical creativity specifically to our work and our lives, is something that probably may give other people the ideas on how they can apply these skills to their lives. A couple of examples, we saw them, so they speak for themselves. Definitely for the number of business situations when we're talking about the necessity of finding a solution to decrease costs, to act in the under the restrictions. Definitely, it's a way how we should start to think. We also help applying these methods in the storytelling as soon as it concerns, for example, corporate application of storytelling. We also help developing product concepts, service concepts, communication concepts based on these methods as well. We definitely believe that when someone as a client, someone, no matter whether it's a big company or small company, someone who is ordering a creative work, a piece of creative work, whether it's a project for your interior home design, or whether it's I don't know, an ad campaign for your coffee shop or something. So developing a creative brief properly is a very important starting point. Basically, if you start to understand how the creative minds are working, then you probably can be more efficient in all that concerns giving this brief to other people, expressing what you want them to do, what you want as to see as a result of their creative work, whether it's, again, it's design, or it's even the kind of a music jingle, if you want. Another field of application, it's what is really in demand these days. It's in-house creative development for marketing and communications. It's basically what we see is that a number of companies, even the big companies, are starting to develop creative solutions for advertising in-house without the help of any other creative agencies. So this is a very modern trend, and this is where all these things can help. It's also what we know quite well is how to learn people to work on the creative topics collectively, jointly, how to increase the efficiency of creative work, of creative problem solving when people work in groups. So again, it's the whole methodology, and it's sometimes you just need to put some 5 or 6 people in the same room, and it's not about brainstorming. It's about being better organized and in terms of using your inner creativity, and then on a simple brainstorm, the way how we're accustomed to see them in everywhere in the movies, or in the books, you know, or sometimes in our offices. And then finally, another field of application is this design thinking. Again, it's a hot topic. No matter which field you work, whether it's a public sector, whether it's third sector, whether it's NGOs, for example, or because for example, we've been applying this methodology with the local National Committee of ISEC in Moscow. We've been helping them to develop the skills of based on the design thinking methodology. If you are designing a product, if you're in a startup, if you're trying to improve the service or consumer experience in your company, so it's this methodology is Well, again, it's kind of one of the first things you start to explore. In the end, a couple of practical devices, some very uncomplicated practices to enhance one's creativity on everyday basis. Daily exercise, kill a first shelf idea. This is first shelf idea is something it's quite a quite a funny thing. It's something which first comes to your mind when someone asks you to, what's your idea about this? This is how I asked you today about this solution for the company of this Dutch company with the bikes. Yeah, first shelf idea sometimes is very harmful because it's something that is easy to reach. It's basically why it's first shelf idea, because it's basically you just stretch your hand and you quickly grab it from the first shelf, the closest to you. But the fact is that, and we have a couple of exercises that clearly demonstrate to participants that your first shelf idea in many situations means the same idea of your neighbor, of your competitor. And then people are just, this is how our brain is working. Basically, we always, when we start to think very quickly, we come up with the same solutions. And for example, in the situation of harsh competition, it's not something you want to basically to launch and to spend your resources on, right? So we always offer to kill this first shelf idea, and then start to think about the second and the third idea, and the fourth and so on. So because first quantity, then the quality, and then it's something which appears in the very beginning. It's not about quality at all, right? A physical exercise, just to train this part of your brain that is not again trained on a daily basis. Just trying to draw your hand, which is not your dominant hand. For example, if you're well, writing with your right hand, just try to use for 5 minutes a day your left hand. Try to draw something. You will be amazed with the results if you start to do it. For example, well, 7 days in a row, or a couple of weeks in a row. So it will be quite an interesting reflection on your on the way how your brain is working, right? And practice some blackout poetry. For example, weekly blackout poetry is a kind of interesting thing when you take any kind of text, someone else's text, and you start to just to eliminate the words, to find a different meaning, to find a phrase, to find a sentence that probably will give you your own it will be the result, will be the result of your imagination, will be a result of your own poetry, your own literature, your own piece of art, if you want. And just being based on someone else's text, and it's a kind of method which is also used in the therapy, by the way. So it's a kind of scientifically proven that it is based. It is also good for your mental health as well. Okay, so I think that's it for today. If you have some questions, we'll be happy to give you the answer, and then if not, then probably let's come back to our families and friends on this Sunday evening.
Yeah, that's really rich of really innovative idea, and sometimes there are things that we are not really taking in consideration, but that can really have a really great impact on our daily way of doing. Like the idea of, because we used to say in another way that the first idea is always the good one. Now you say, okay, now everybody will be thinking the first idea is always a good one, but if you really want to be competitive, if you really want to do something unique, then you have to fit to your mind, if the first idea is the good idea, then everyone will be having the first idea. Then choose the second, the third, and the fourth one. That you will be the one, the only one. Then you innovate from the second and the third one.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. You're right. Absolutely, that's it.
Definitely, yeah. You see, that's things that really give us a different way, different perspective of seeing things, and trying to make our brain work differently, and trying to be more creative actually on what we are doing. That's really amazing. That's really amazing.
Good. I'm glad. I'm really glad.
Yeah, I think people will be really glad to have this on. Definitely, we are going to make it published. Let's say to share the video on the social media, and I'm sure a lot of people will have a lot of things to learn from
the very beginning. I apologize for in front of the future viewers, because probably that was not very perfect. I mean, as a presentation, because it was quite. In fact, it's quite difficult to. It's quite a new experience to all of us of recording these things. And giving the life to our thoughts in this format, because we all are trying to cope with Zoom reality these days. So I hope you will forgive me for some imperfections of this kind of a conversation. Well, next time we'll try harder.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you are available for next speech, because we really looking for people to share their knowledge. Yes, if you and we'll be really always glad to have you to share the additional knowledge, maybe talking about another topic that you are doing on your daily basis. And just a short, quick, because I haven't mentioned it at the beginning. People were having a presentation from Alexander. They don't know exactly the detail. Will talk or mention to the attention of people who are going to listen in the house that you are a brand strategy with more than 25 years of experience in marketing and communication, and you used to work for like a number of great companies. I will name a few here: Leo, Burner, BBDO. You work as a copywriter, project manager, and strategic planning director. And today you are a partner at Rocklin Branding and Communication Consultancy in Tel Aviv, Israel. You are also an analyst, planner, facilitator, trainer, speaker, and also you are a fan of foreign languages.
Oh yeah, I'm trying my best.
Yeah. These are the things that let's say the audience should know about Alexander, and also they are going to discover another things from your presentation. And I hope, as me, they are going to find it insightful for them, and they are going to pick up things that will be helpful for their professional, their personal life. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you for your availability. And as I said, we are going to do the video, to put the video online. And also, if you agree, we are going to put your contact detail if people want to reach you directly.
Absolutely.
Then they can contact you. They can get in touch with you.
For sure.
Okay.
We'll be grateful.
Yeah. Thank you one more time, Alexander, and happy Sunday. See you soon.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Let's stay connected. Bye.
Bye.